Welcome to Taylor Time. Today I want to talk about the healing process coming full circle. The Saving Horses organization has rescued more than 100 horses from slaughter, abuse, and neglect. But what's even more wonderful about this rescue group, the rehabilitated horses then get back to society. After being healed, the animals join a new equine therapy treatment that actually helps people battling addictions to severe mental health issues like PTSD. Audrey Reynolds is the president and remarkable woman behind the Saving Horses organization, and she joins us now here in studio. Thank you, Audrey, for stopping by. Tell me how you got involved in, rescuing horses.
7 or 8 years ago, I was introduced to the anti-slaughter campaign. Over 130,000 horses go to slaughter in Mexico and Canada each year. Their meat is used for human consumption abroad. So at any given time, there are beautiful adoptable horses standing on feedlots all over the US, even in California. And I learned that these horses needed to be rescued.
And you just had this passion. Have you loved horses your whole life?
I grew up in Ireland. I loved horses. Had horses my whole life.
And you know how magical they are.
Yes.
Okay, so tell me about some of the severe cases, situations you've seen.
Well, I started rescuing by going to auction, and when we would go to auction, we felt ourselves drawn to the worst cases. We have rescued some thoroughbreds off the track that were so worn out and so used up that they just could not be rehabilitated. Some of them we had to take to equine hospital and have them euthanized right away. We have various cases, I mean, really too numerous to mention. A couple of mares I took from auction who had severe valgus deformity in their front legs and couldn't even walk, so they unfortunately had to be euthanized also. Bayo, a beautiful older gelding, was rescued off of a cattle feedlot. He was expected to eat the silage that the cattle were eating, but because he hadn't had his teeth taken care of in so many years, he couldn't even eat. So he was slowly wasting away, and he would have died if he had been left there.
Wow. There is a situation that you encountered at an auction where you went to go save the horses, and from the neglect of the person running the auction house, the horse died. Talk about that.
Yes, that was a different auction. It was a much smaller auction, and the person who brought the two horses to be auctioned off was unsuccessful in getting a bidder to take the horses that night, so they were abandoned at the auction lot. So the horses stayed at the auction lot, I believe, for several weeks and were not fed. And we were called in to see if we could help the horses. However, we were too late for the gelding, and he did die in the trailer on the way to safety.
That is so sad. But you are an angel to these horses. You're saving them, and not only that, you rehabilitate them. And now with this program, these horses can then rehabilitate humans, and it's just a beautiful circle of life. Talk about that.
Yes, we decided to put our 10 sanctuary horses to good use so that they could give back to society. I'm sure that they're very appreciative of the rehabilitation and the safe home that they now have, and that they can give back. It's actually an equine facilitated healing program, and we've invited Dr. Susan Crimmins to come in and conduct this program. The horses actually lead the session, and the thoroughbreds off the track are wonderful because they're so sensitive.
They sure are. You treat people with PTSD, you could treat all sorts of disorders with equine therapy, but also like addictive disorders as well, right? Drug addiction, all kinds of addiction.
Yes, and I'm no expert in this field, but I leave this all up to my therapist, Dr. Crimmins, who has experience in counseling many trauma victims as well in the past.
Well, it's quite remarkable. Let's look at some before and afters. You had the two colts, right? Or what were they? And then we have before pictures.
We have a filly and a colt. They were 2-year-old feral draft babies that came from a feedlot in Modesto. They came on a truckload of horses that I bought sight unseen. The filly had to lie down in the trailer the whole way there because she had a terrible case of canker in her foot, which enabled her, which prevented her from walking and standing for that long journey. So we rehabilitated them. The adopter paid for the surgery on the filly's foot, and they're now living wonderful, happy, healthy lives as trail horses.
Fantastic.
And they've grown to be very big, of course, because they were draft horses. And they were underfed when they arrived, so they were very small.
Fantastic. Well, all of this takes money, and so you are having an event I believe on the 20th, to raise money to help rescue even more horses, right?
Yes, we decided to do a blessing of the horses, to bless them on their new endeavor in this program. And it's just an opportunity for people to come meet the horses, find out what we do, and enjoy a glass of wine and some cheese and crackers, and yes, make a donation. That would be nice.
And where is it at?
It's at our ranch in Encinitas. It's at 3224 Wildflower Valley Drive.
At what time?
At 4 p.m. Saturday afternoon on the 20th.
Perfect. Sounds like a great time. And I will tell you, if you haven't ever been around horses, folks, just being around a horse and spending time and working with them, it is the most healing feeling. I can't even describe it. And you wouldn't know what I'm talking about until you actually experience it yourself.
Right, and more people are familiar with therapy dogs, but we now have therapy horses.
And horses, their senses, because they're prey animals, are tenfold what ours are, so it makes them even more intuitive.
Yes.
They're just beautiful. Thank you so much, Audrey, for coming.
Thank you, Taylor.
Thank you.